Welcome to Spiritual Dessert Trews episode 100 for Russell Brand and other people. Tonight's is about sexuality. Palladian sexuality. A few notes about what we were and it looks like what we've become. We're missing a few elements. Originally, sexuality was supposed to be connecting us to the divine. Now, it's missing quite a few elements. It's sometimes being a really great tool for getting there, and other times we're just stuck on that chakra. Here's a little bit I was reading about, and it is from the Spiritual Understanding in Eagle's View, Palladians About Sexuality. When the library of your cells was torn from the shelves and scattered, and the DNA was split so that there were only 2 strands left with very little data and very little memory, sexuality was left intact in the physical body. Procreation. Like the same reason that religions want you to procreate, they want the species to continue. It was left as a form of reproduction, of course, as a form for the species to stay in touch with its own essence and bring itself into life. Very deep inside the mechanism of sexuality is a frequency that can be attained, that has been sought after and misunderstood by many people. It's called the orgasm. The orgasm has been distorted from its original purpose. Your body has forgotten the cosmic orgasm of which it is capable because society has taught you for thousands and thousands of years that sexuality is bad. You've been taught this in order for you to be controlled and to keep you from seeking the freedom available through sexuality. Sexuality connects you with a frequency of ecstasy, which connects you back to your divine source and to information. Sexuality has been given a bad name upon this planet, and that bad name is stored in your cellular memory. So then it comes out in the forms of other things. You're looking for something, but you're not sure what you're looking for. It is necessary for you to clear the negativity surrounding sexuality from this lifetime, as well as to experience and examine how you utilize sexual energy and sexual expression in your multidimensional selves. The sexual parts of the body are avenues of pleasure that create frequency to heal and stimulate the body and potentially lead it to its higher spiritual self. Sexuality is misunderstood on this planet, that when it is exchanged between persons, 2 persons, maybe more, very seldom is there an intent to connect spiritually with it. Sexuality invokes a spirituality that is free, and it looks at itself as a creator. However, very seldom is sexuality used as a bridge to take you to higher levels of consciousness, like meditation. We have spoken with a number of individuals who have been utilizing light. Since finding the proper partner in monogamous situation, they have been able to achieve very high states of being. Monogamy tends to work for most of you very well because of where you are vibrationally. When you have many partners, you tend to be less than honest, and to hide who you are. You share a little here, a little there, and everywhere, scattering your seed. It's best to be with one person, but this does not mean the same person forever. Be loyal, be open, be sharing with the person you are working with, and go as far as you can with them. We're here to elevate. If it happens to be your whole life, wonderful. If it doesn't, then when you come to a place where you're no longer communicating and serving one another, and you feel the relationship is not going to be able to make a leap, terminate the relationship and find another person who works with your vibration. When you work one-on-one, ultimately, intimately, you develop trust. Most of you have difficulty trusting yourselves because you don't have a role model for trust. You can learn about trust in a relationship because a relationship acts as a mirror for you, showing you what you cannot see from your own viewpoint. That's the whole point. I was driving at that earlier from a post. Well, what's the point of being here? If you know the game, we're all the divine. This is just a costume. Why am I here? I could just go be in eternal, cosmic, orgasmic bliss right now. I don't have to be in the shell. Trapped. Funny, I kind of knew that when I was little. I always saw this as the turtle shell and that this wasn't me. I was really upset that someone was trying to peg me as a little girl. I'm not a little girl. I knew I was a spirit. What a kid. I always wore what I wanted. All kind of crazy combinations. And I went to Catholic school, so I had to wear a uniform every day. But when I could express myself, I sure did. It's a little trendsetter. Everybody always asks me, where'd you get that? How did you put that together? Where can I buy that? And I answer, it's from my closet. I don't buy things very much anymore. It's just the same old stuff recycled. We don't need much. We think we do. You just have to be really creative with what you have. So going back to sexuality, it shows you yourself, outside of yourself, when you have open communication within sexuality and deep intimacy, and when you are not using sexuality as a distraction for getting close. Many of you have used sexuality as a distraction and a way to avoid intimacy rather than to develop it. You begin to get energetic and to look into one another's eyes and to feel all hot and excited. I like this article. You begin to get energetic, and instead of exploring each other intimately and spiritually, you shut down your feeling centers, put on your armor, and have shallow genital sex because it's too frightening and too the deeper root of the full body and full spiritual connection. Sometimes hot sex feels great and wonderful. Or simply saying that there's more. There's much more, and no one's keeping it from you except yourselves and the beliefs and fear that you have of letting down your boundaries and walls. Many of the fears you have are based on what you've created for yourselves and what have done to others in your sexual life. Your sexual history affects every other portion of your soul, so all of your soul's issues are broadcast loud and clear throughout your body. You don't want to look at this sometimes because it's too painful, and you judge it because you think that it's bad. Stop judging and get neutral about what you've done, no matter what you've discovered, no matter how heinous it seems, no matter how difficult it seems, and no matter how much violation it involves. There comes that love yourself unconditionally part. Understand that your purpose has been to gather data and to understand yourselves. Sexuality is a frequency. It represents what was not taken away from you, even though your history, your memories, and your identity were removed and scattered. The way you were left intact with the ability to discover who you were was through the sexual experience. Of course, you're never taught this. We're going to do some church bashing. So sorry to anyone who's a member of the churches. Hey! The churches came about. I know what the churches did. Much as I love the connection, they told my grandfather to wait, hello, to the second week, which is like ovulation, and wait for that. This way he wouldn't have, like, kids every 18 months. And sure enough, boom, like clockwork, right on ovulation. Q's like chronically depressed. I have 12 aunts and uncles. I'm sorry, my mom's one of 12, so that's 11 aunts and uncles. That's what happens when you follow the rules. You have many kids. But you don't have to. That's another interesting thing. It's coming up here. We think we don't have control. We always get what we believe. So we think we don't have control, and therefore whatever we think is going to happen is usually what's going to happen. If you say, oh, today's going to be a very rainy and coldy day. Rainy and coldy day. Coldy day! Cut. Rainy and cold day. Sure enough. That's what we got. I wonder if I would have thought it was hot and sunny. Then I have to take a flight somewhere. It's interesting. Life. You can create anything you want, but then it's going to take a different twist or turn. Watch what you wish for. I did wish for cosmic orgasmic ecstasy. And I get this article. I got it. It's a great article. You got to keep laughing. God's got a sense of humor. A very big one. The churches came about as organizations, businesses to control religion and spiritual development, to create jobs, and to create a hierarchy, and to create a club. And very few churches came about with the idea of bringing information to people. You don't usually think of religion as something that keeps you informed, do you? No. Any religion that brings information is a religion operating on the vibration of truth. Spiritual realms are places of existence that the human body is locked away from. Because sexuality was an opportunity for human beings to regain their memory or to connect with their spiritual selves and spiritual creator, or to find an avenue to the spiritual realm that you're sealed off from, the churches came about and promoted sexuality for procreation. Some of them did a really good job. Women were told that sexuality was something they had to undergo to serve men, and that they had no control over the birthing process. Women believe this, hence to this day, you believe in general that you have no control over that portion of your body. You must realize that only you decide whether you're going to birth a child or not. This is not such a complicated thing as you've been told. Decision and intention are what bring the experience to your being. You can control whether you have a baby or not. If women had this ability for the last several thousand years, and if she had been able to explore her sexual self without fear of having a child, perhaps men and women would have discovered that they are much freer than they have been told that they are. The discovery of the highest frequency of sexuality arises from the love experience. It has nothing to do with relationships being either homosexual or heterosexual. It has to do with two human beings bringing pleasure to one another in a way that opens frequencies of consciousness. You've brought many ideas about what is proper and what is improper into sexual expression. Love is the essence that is to be created in all relationships. To be continued. Good, you'll see this hat again. Love you. Pleasant dreams.